In our armed services, we have several branches of our armed service. The highest person in the branch of every armed service is in a group called the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You've heard of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Colin Powell years ago and all. Well, every year they elect a chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who then works with the non-uniformed people like the Department of Defense and the President and the Security Council and all that. Well, the current one is a man I had never heard of before. He's not well known outside of the armies and things like that. His name is Martin Dempsey, General Martin Dempsey. General Dempsey obviously graduated at the top of his class, did great, went back to school, all these things. He was in the first Persian Gulf War back in 1990s, early 1990s, and then he was running some of the war in Iraq, and he was part of the armored division, the tanks, and helped take back some of the cities in Iraq and all that. I don't need to go into the details, but he did a lot of work on the ground, in the battles, and now he's sitting in an office in Washington. He's kind of gone up. He's a 4-star general. Now he's the head of the whole thing. So he's probably the highest ranking officer in America right now, General Martin Dempsey. Martin Dempsey has on his desk a box. It's a box about this big that he had made for him. Beautiful, ornate box. Every morning when he comes to work, I believe at the Pentagon, he opens the box, and inside the box are 133 laminated cards. 133 laminated cards. And every day he thumbs through them, pulls 3 or 4 cards out, puts them in his uniformed pocket, and leaves. Closes the box and reads what he had inscribed at the top. And these are the words he inscribed at the top: make it matter. The 133 laminated cards are photographs of the 133 men who died in tanks under his command. Photographs. He takes out a couple, reads their name, puts them in his pocket, and reads the saying that he put on the box: make it matter. He does not take lightly his responsibility and the life that was lost in 2003 and 2004 when he was the head of the tank, the first tank command, or whatever it's called. You Army guys could tell me, but he was the head of the battalion that was going in with those tanks. Paul is here building a box for us. The box is built with God's mercy and God's grace. And inside the box is a cross. The death of Christ is inside that box. Now, he didn't stay dead like those 133 men. He was raised from the dead and now sits next to the Father, where we will one day sit with him at the table, it says. And Paul is telling us that the work that this man, God who became man, Emmanuel, did, makes it matter. Now, you can walk through life all you want to walk through life, but you got to understand that what Christ did makes life matter.